So, with that out of the way, let us begin. My main is a black mage. Also, if there's any messages in chat that look like they're going to be disrespectful or whatnot based on anything really from the class or race that I play to just being a jackass in general, I'm going to time it out as well. Because based on everything that I've seen from other more prominent Twitch streamers, I'm nipping this in the bud now rather than later and having to deal with the consequences about it. Alright. But, more exciting things. It's patch day. I gotta talk to Kryle. I gotta close all of that stuff. I also went in and turned off all player nameplates so that it wouldn't be as crowded when I'm doing all this. Kryle's eyes light up at the sight of you. Oh, greetings, Dordum. Come to look in on our friends? Rest assured, everyone's quite well. I've been keeping a close eye on them, and I've satisfied myself that they are all in fine health. As a matter of fact, they've just about to convene in Dawn's Respite to discuss how to best use their pent-up energy. Let's join them, shall we? Oh, God. I can imagine a lot of things that could mean, but let's see.
Well, my friends, now that we have all settled back into our bodies, it is time we resumed our duties in earnest. Let us speak of our plans.
Ever since the Emperor's death, it's been one unsettling rumor after another. I have a mind to pay a visit to Garlemald to ascertain the truth of the matter.
A prudent endeavor. 'Tis of the essence that we establish the full extent of the threat, not least if it should prove that Xenos doth indeed orchestrate events from the shadows. In light of which possibility, I shall accompany thee on thy mission. Be assured that thou shalt find me more a help than a hindrance. Thou requirest another to imbue thine ammunition, dost thou not?
Good point.
Assuming that's settled, there's something I've been meaning to look into as well.
Oh!
Welcome back, everyone!
Hey, it's been a while since we've seen you here.
Lise!
You're fine now, right? No more headaches or keeling over?
That's right. We're fighting fit and raring to go.
I kind of miss their old outfits from the Shadowbringers main quests.
The famous Lise Hext, former scion and hero of the Alamegan resistance.
Oh! Thank you for the follow, Perfect Frost Mage.
Really? It's so easy to assume that all Archons are acquainted. But then I suppose your fields of expertise are rather different.
Hold on, I gotta read. There we go.
Grahatir, at your service. I have read much and more about your exploits, Commander. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
He's like a kid in a candy store, I love it.
Likewise. The others told me all about you.
Do not be so sure. Words scarcely do justice to the vital role he played in our victory in the First.
Oh, right. I did glance at the report. But I'd be lying if I said I understood half of it.
Don't worry, everyone else here on the source has the same comment. Grahatia is precious and I must protect him.
Well, that's a lot to take in. Just to be clear, this means we're not heading for another calamity, does it?
I hope not.
Shorn of their unsundered master's leadership, what Ascians remain shall struggle to see their plans to fruition. And though I would ever advise caution, I believe we may rest easy for a time.
I'll take that as a yes.
Basically.
Even so, I don't know what to make of this business about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals.
Oh yeah, by the way, spoilers for what happened in the main Shadowbringers quests. Be warned.
A difficult truth to bear, yes. But at last we understand the nature of our adversary. And if there are no further calamities, neither will there be rejoinings, meaning Zodiac will never regain his full strength. Even so, as the oldest and mightiest of primals, he remains a force to be feared. Though his is a power born of the desire for salvation, we have seen the havoc it may wreak. And it falls to us to ensure that it is never again brought to bear upon this star.
But tell
No
us,
thoughts, head
to
empty.
what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
What do you mean? Isn't seeing my long-lost comrades reason enough?
Oops.
So, after Emperor Varys' assassination, it seems his cousin Nerva made a bid for the throne. The trouble is, he wasn't the only one with designs on it, and it didn't take long for a civil war to break out. And it's not just in the provinces. Early reports say huge swathes of the Imperial capital have been reduced to rubble.
Oh, good. So we don't have to worry about the Empire, right?
The Alliance will soon convene in Alamigo to decide on a course of action, and we were hoping you'd come along.
Well, as it happens, Urianger and I were just this moment planning a little trip to Garlemald. And we should be grateful for any advice the Alliance can provide on how best to make the most of our visit.
To Alamigo, then.
Why don't you go on without me? There's something I need to look into.
Ah, forgive me. You were just telling us. What is it, if I may ask?
I want to find a way to cure the Tempered.
Of course. You think it may be possible to adapt the treatment you used to help those corrupted by the Sin Eaters?
I'm sorry, a cure for tempering? But that would change everything. Alizé, consider yourself uninvited. Go and find us this cure.
That
do my
would
best.
change a lot of things.
I was hoping you might join me. Don't worry if not, though. I won't hold it against you if you'd rather attend a stuffy meeting.
Stuffy meeting or adventure where I could possibly die. I'll take the possibility of death. I like stuffy... No. What meeting? Lead on.
I knew you'd say yes.
I'll come too. If you don't mind, that is.
Yeah, sure. More the merrier.
Mind? I'm sure they would be glad of your company. Pray, enjoy your time together with your hero.
Y'shtola, we're not dating.
No. That's not... I mean, I simply thought my knowledge might be of some use.
We shall be on our way then. Godspeed.
Alright, let's go on ahead and do the, all the neat little quests with, Alizé. Let me see what you have to say about this, Tataru. Don't worry, I can say with complete confidence that Graha is dressed for anything. Yeah, he's an all-rounder in the trust system. Which means I'm not going to be using Thancred for any trust dungeons that come up on the story. Alright. When I set out to save Halric, I think Gabu was always at the back of my mind, and having proved that the light corrupted are not lost, I'm convinced that the same must be true of the tempered. Similar to those corrupted by the Sin Eaters, the ether of Gabu's soul has been rendered stagnant. And though the root cause is different, perhaps the solution is the same. It is by no means an unreasonable hypothesis, I'll say, and it warrants full investigation. If there's even a chance we can save Gabu, we have to try. But however much I'd like to race over to Limsa and set to work, there's no room for recklessness, not when a child's life is at stake. And I'm sure Beck Lug would remind us, we still know little and less about the soul. Any number of things could go wrong if we don't exercise due caution. And so, before attempting anything, we should learn all we possibly can about tempering. There's just one problem. Research into the condition has long since ground to a halt, and the combined work of the many scholars involved doesn't exactly amount to a wealth of knowledge. Not the modern scholars, perhaps, but what about their ancient counterparts? I know the Allegans took more than passing interest in the subject. And what if if what we seek is to be found anywhere, it would surely be at the Aetherochemical Research Facility. Were they experimented on primals in the warships? Yes. Good thinking. I never actually been there by myself, but I did read reports on Oz's Law, which means we will be needing an airship. An airship, you say? Meet me at the northern bank of Lake Silvertear. I've got a little surprise for you. Oh, and come prepared to travel. You've got an airship, don't you? Oh, that settles it. Where's the door? There's the door. Yes, using sprint to run a short distance. That's always a good idea. Alright. And oh yeah, since patch 5.3, I can fly! Which means it's easy to get over here. What level are you? Oh, okay, 46. You're a Dark Knight in training. Oh, hey, Sid. Boom. No. Oh, wait, that's not Sid. What am I thinking? Oh! You changed outfits. I'm guessing you're an engineer now? I give you the Bonanza, the Scion's very own airship. Ooh! I built her as a company project with the help of our friends at the Rising Stones and named her for luck and prosperity. Tataru, this is amazing. We'll be able to fly just about anywhere we want. Our garments were impressive enough, but to build an entire airship, I see the annals did not exaggerate the many talents of the Scion's fabled coin keeper. I'd also introduce myself as your pilot, except the training didn't go quite well as I'd hoped, but that's alright, because we've hired this capable fellow here instead. The Bonanza is equipped with a full complement of mana cutters. By the way, feel free to use them to get around Az's Law. But enough talk, it's time to fly. All aboard! Tataru is the most powerful disciple of the hand and or land character in the game, besides your player character. She's not good at combat, but by God is she good at everything else. Oh, wow, we're already here. Okay. Honestly, Sid would be jealous of the way the airship flies. Tadru has outdone herself. Anyway, here we are, on Oz's Law, and Alpha Node's report did not do the scale of this place justice. Turn that down a little bit. Hey, food! Or, some silver pieces. I think I'll be taking the food, honestly. Food buffs are pretty good. This appears to be Helix, which means we stand in the Alpha Quadrant. To the east lies the Beta Quadrant, and... a burp. Yes, I believe I have my bearings, though this is my first time on Oz's Law. I do have some familiarity with the place thanks to the records in the Crystal Tower. Unless I'm mistaken, this path leads to an aetherite, beyond which there will be an information terminal. I suggest we begin our search there. Alright, let's go. And on my trusty chocobo. Oh yeah, over here. And here's the terminal. A moment while I search the archives for references to tempering. Do that. Ah, there we are. Iconic corruption, an overview. That sounds promising. Indeed. Let's see what the report has to say. Confound it. The contents appear to have been deleted. That's odd. Not from here, I'm afraid, but it may be that another copy of the report exists elsewhere. The question is where to look. It says here the report was written by someone named Owen. It is likely that he kept a copy? I would say it's a distinct possibility. Assuming he was a researcher here, he will have had quarters on the Habisphere. We can ascertain the details that the Habisphere control. Let us return to the Bonanza and avail ourselves of the mana cutters. We will need them to reach our destination. I forgot, you already have a suitable means of transport, don't you? No need to waste the time accompanying us back to the ship, then. We'll see you at the Habisphere. Basically, find your own ride. And this is one of the reasons why the developers are saying that flight is required. Basically, do the company mount quests and get yourself a mount. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to fly. Alright. They don't give a damn about your stubbornness. We're wanting to just blaze through all the main story quests and nothing else. Which is why they made the Crystal Tower required. Because a lot of the stuff in patch 5.3 would not make a lot of sense, now would it? Alright, where exactly am I? Okay. Yeah, you can't even get to the Habisphere without a flying mount. Maybe I should have turned off minion nameplates. If the late Owen did indeed have a chamber here, this note will be able to tell us its number. Oh, it's spinning. There, from what I recall of the layout, it should be somewhere in the vicinity of... Warning, an evacuation order is presently in effect. Entry to the Habisphere is not permitted at this time. Foiled again. In all likelihood, the order would have been imposed during the Fourth Umbral Calamity, and I doubt it would be lifted in the near future. Energy level critical. Returning to base for recharging. Follow it to the base, I guess? Or, you know, just force our way in. Where we send an surge of energy through yonder control mechanism, it should prompt the system to restart, releasing the locks. As for a suitable energy source, a concentrated lightning shard might suffice. Happily, I seem to recall that they are known to form at points of stagnant ether throughout the continent. You seem to recall? Are you honestly telling me that that was in the records too? I am. A report sent to the capital mentioned that lightning-aspected ether was prone to pooling on the continent, resulting in surges that interfered with equipment. So what, find a lightning sprite and just use it? Studies help me feel connected to the source, to home. I must have explored this facility 1,000 times in my mind, but to finally stand here with the two of you, 'tis more exhilarating than I can well express. Now then, the lightning shard. If I may, I suggest we split up and search the Beta Quadrant. Oh, but beware of sprites. They are wont to manifest where the ether is stagnant. Hey, we get to kill stuff! First to return here with the shard wins. What do you say? Alright. Oh, they have their own rides. Cool. Alright, let's get on them out. I gotta go way down, don't I? And just basically follow where everyone else is going. Alright, cool. Alright, let's kill these guys. And everyone here is helping. And now a cutscene. Bravo! That was quite a show, adventurer. Why, the spectacle proved so enthralling that all thoughts of the prize slipped my mind. I appear to have forfeited our little race. Congratulations, the lightning shard is yours. What? No dramatic entrance? You've changed. You remember that? In my defense, I was caught up in the moment. It isn't every day you meet an honest god's hero, after all. Oh, Graha. Well, the contest continues, so you better hurry back. Ah, but one last thing. Thank you for bringing me here. Ah, just like he was in the Crystal Tower quests. Nice little nod. I like it. Alright, so let's get out of here. Oh, looks like Alisei is not back yet. It appears Atlas had an elect, so victory is ours. Congratulations. Now then, may I have the shard? Sure. What is it that makes you so much better at finding things? What do you have that I don't? Other player characters going to the right location, I guess? That is a question I too have asked myself on numerous occasions. I suspect that we could learn a great deal from you, and not only about the secrets of adventuring. But come, we should attend to our mission. Are you trying to hit on me? Excellent. The system responded exactly as intended. We now have access to the Happisphere. Only one obstacle remains, the security systems within. Should they be triggered, they could make life rather difficult for us. In light of which, pray leave the rest to me. If I'm right, my royal blood should allow me to venture in unmolested. Why do you have to use that word? Assuming this place works like the Crystal Tower, yes, but if it doesn't, you'll be on your own. I want you to promise us that you'll get out at the first sign of trouble. I promise. Wish me luck. And there he goes. Oh, nothing for it but to sit tight. I'm sure this Owen fellow was very learned, but iconic corruption in overview sounds like a stadium thesis. We all had to write one. Lest you wonder, mine was about the combat applications of ether. I'm nothing if not practical. Alphinode's was more philosophical, of course. Political, dare I say it. He chose to write a lengthy discourse on the nation's duty to the world. A controversial subject, to say the least. He asserted that Charlane's knowledge should rightly be used to protect all life on the star, in direct opposition to the country's cherished policy of non-intervention. Being a leading member of the Forum, our father was not happy. At the time, of course, Alphino was utterly convinced of these views and would cheerfully agree to the death with anyone who saw things differently. By which I mean the rows were long. To be fair to him, though, his since learned to be a little more open-minded, but deep down he still holds fast to the one belief, and I admire him for it. I should have liked to meet the young Alphino. For what it's worth, my thesis concerned the elegant civilization as depicted in folklore. Oh, you're back. I didn't know you attended the stadium. I didn't. A thesis was required to earn my Archon's mark. My peers at the Students of Balsadon convinced me to write one with the promise of unfettered access to the Forbidden Tomes. Though I considered it no more a means to an end at the time, I will admit it was gratifying to have my efforts acknowledged. Good gods, an Archon's thesis. I shudder to imagine the work involved, but enough about that. Is this the fruit of your foray? Yes, Owen's archive node. It was waiting for me in his chamber. If a copy of his report survives, it should be stored in this device. Shall we find out? Initializing. Scanning for registered user. User not found. To proceed as a guest, please complete biometric authentication. Well, that's your, royal blood for you. Blip. Verifying. Authentication to complete. Guest identified as member of the royal family. I am at your most humble service, your highness. It never ceases to amuse me, but 'tis a pity the effect will not last forever. Doga and Une said as much when they granted me this gift, but until such time as it fades, I shall use it gratefully. Search archive for iconic corruption. Searching. 1 item found. Iconic corruption. An overview. The report is locked by the author. Please state password. Ah, crap. I'll go on then, Your Highness. Tell the nice node the password. Right, let's see. Glory be to Alag. Long live Emperor Zond. Password incorrect. Please try again. Confound it. Come now, passwords are invariably short and simple. For instance... Password. The notion that the password could be something so inane would be laughable were it not dangerously stupid. Furthermore, your conduct in the presence of His Highness is grossly inappropriate. Know your place, handmaiden. Ooh. Wild Rose? I guess? Alright, that's it. I say we dismantle it and manually extract what we need. Now, let's not be too hasty. A single misstep and we risk losing the report altogether. I believe this may be a task for Sid and his colleagues. If anyone can coax Machina into cooperating, it is them. Alright, let's lug this thing. Come, let us bear this node back to the Rising Stones. Alright, so which one would work for me? Direct hit, critical hit, determination, snap, nope. Ooh, spell speed. Don't mind if I do. As a black mage, I love fast casting. Oh god, the noises are back. Threat detected. I think that means step back, Alisei. Graha seems eager to bear the node away. I should probably mention that I have yet to meet Sid since waking up. Rambros did send word to the Ironworks, but it appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Nevertheless, I assure you my proposal to seek his help is no pretext, however much I might look forward to seeing him again. Him and everyone. But come, let us be on our way. We have somewhere to be. Look at him, all but running. How sweet. Still, wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Yeah, let's get away from all this thought noise. There we go. Nice little detail that there are voices whenever you're close to a whole bunch of player characters, but it can be a little much. Into the Rising Stones, along with everyone else. Wonderful news, Dordom. Tataru contacted Cid on our behalf, and he's on his way here even as we speak. While we wait, I should very much like to hear what transpired at the Alliance Council. Would you be so kind, Kryl? How convenient that they finished up as well. As you know, the meeting was convened to discuss how best to respond to the events in Garlemald. According to intelligence from our Dorman allies, the War of Succession rages on, and the Empire remains without a leader. Amidst the chaos, the Imperial legions in the province have begun to move independently of the motherland. Ooh. Our greatest concern to us is the Third, a legion aligned with Lord Nerva. It appears that they have received substantial financial backing. Good. Brutus. Aren't they the ones who took Yotsuyu and Ashai? This bodes well. Xenos' movements, meanwhile, remain shrouded in mystery. We're hoping that Thancred and Urianger will be able to shed some light on his activities when they return. Until such time as they do, the Allied leaders feel it would be unwise to interfere in the conflict, and so, thanks in part to the Imperial withdrawal from Gimlet, they have decided to turn their attention to the primal problem once more. Oh, good, so let's let the Imperials just eat themselves up from the inside. Working with friendly factions among the Beast tribes, they hope to reopen dialogue and explore new avenues for peace. Given the timing, I suspect they wish to put their respective houses in order and ahead of a decisive clash with the Empire. Whatever their intent, it is not a problem easily solved. The Lumensons in particular struggle in their efforts, and Alphino and Y'shtola have been called upon to aid them. As long as we're dealing with the Tempered, I'm afraid no amount of dialogue will avail us. But if we can develop a treatment for tempering, then anything is possible. Which is why we must succeed. And on that cheery note, why not make yourselves comfortable in Dawn's Respite? I'll show Cid in as soon as he arrives. Alright. Nothing to do but wait. Warning, His Highness is exhibiting elevated blood pressure. Oh, so you're a heart rate monitor now. Cool. What do you have to say about this? As important as Gabu is to me, I know only too well how much more it is at stake here. A cure would change the whole world. And now we wait. Excuse me. I'm actually gonna do this. Cid! Forgive us for not coming to see you sooner, my friend. As you may have heard, we've had our hands full. In our defense, you are up rather early. I was under the impression you'd be slumber a while longer. Oh, I would have been, had you not fulfilled your promise. I struggle with that idea. From where I stand, the secrets of traversing time and space seem exactly as unfathomable as they ever did. But if an alternate version of myself has already laid them bare, I dare say that frees me up to concentrate on other endeavors. Speaking of which, you wanted my help with something, was it? What was it? Blah, 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 blah. Well, treatment for tempering. As for the next step, you need to find the password to this Algan's report. Just so. With nary a clue to guide us, we could be here forever and still not guess correctly, unless we turn to you. Well, I'd love to say that we could help you, so I will. Once suitably configured, a MagTech terminal should make short work of identifying the password. I knew I could rely on you. Now, anticipating that it might be of use, I took the liberty of borrowing a tombstone from Ramboros. It contains an Algan dictionary. Thank you for the gift of, dead air. Good thinking. I'll transfer the information to the terminal and set to work right away. Dinner's ready. Ah, looks like it's finished. Let's see. Freedom. The password is freedom. Freedom! Ha, short and simple. Just as I said it would. Would you care to do the honors, Your Highness? I would, milady. Oh, God. Node. Open the report entitled Iconic Corruption and Overview. Password freedom. Password accepted. Opening report. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. This report seeks to provide an overview of the mechanism by which icons corrupt and bind men to their will. Could also blind. I don't know. The phenomenon we call corruption refers to the alteration of the ether of the soul. How would I know it would come to soul? Said ether originally exists in equilibrium, no one element being more prominent than another. But when a subject is exposed to the ether of an icon, this changes, their soul taking on the properties of the entity in question. By way of an example, exposure to the ether of the fiend Sephiroth would cause a subject's ether to become aligned with the element of Earth. As a consequence, the subject would attain heightened affinity with Earth-aspected magics, as well as preternatural levels of endurance. Repeated exposure would further enhance these traits, ultimately altering the subject's very flesh. And then they would become that. The changes undergone by the subject are not solely attributable to elemental alignment, however. Further testing has determined that the subject's soul becomes umbrally charged or stagnant during the process. The stagnation of the soul has the effect of diluting the sense of self, rendering the subject vulnerable to the will of the icon, the thoughts of whom come to consume their entire existence. In this matter, do corrupted become worshippers of the icon, their prayers serving to further empower this entity. Having discerned the mechanism of iconic corruption, my colleagues and I set out to develop a material capable of shielding one from its effects, an endeavor in which we were successful, albeit at great cost. In the course of testing, many of my assistants, good men and women all, fell victim to corruption, and in accordance with protocol, they were summarily put to death. I subsequently submitted a proposal to investigate potential cures for corruption, but it was rejected, deemed not essential by Lord Amon. Though I knew it would be fruitless, I protested the decision, and for my impertinence, I have been stripped of rank and title and will shortly be expelled from this facility. In all likelihood, this report will be expunged from the archives. Nonetheless, I recorded in hope that one day someone will undertake to do that which I could not, and find a cure for the victims of iconic corruption. End recording. So not even the Alligans were able to find a cure, or rather, were not given the chance to do so. One cannot help but wonder what motivated Lord Amon's decision. More importantly, this confirms the stagnation of the soul is indeed the problem, and Angelo can remedy that. True. Yet were we simply to reanimate a tempered soul, I fear it would do naught to diminish the individual's fanatical faith. Indeed, it may very well intensify it. No, we would somehow need to suppress the primal's hold over the subject at the same time, or risk them ever remaining its thrall. If only we could make them remember who they were, or so there's no point in reviving their souls unless we can also restore their sense of self. This seems like a little more involved first decision. But of course, memory transference. The process has the effect of compartmentalizing memories, separating them into manageable bundles, if you will. By adapting the technique, it may be possible to achieve selective reanimation. That is, limit the effects to only those memories that existed prior to tempering. Though thus restoring the sense of self, we could theoretically drown out the incitements of false faith which had come to dominate the individual's thoughts. I see. The theory seems sound, and our experience treating the light corrupted would help us identify suitable memories for reanimation. But you're confident you can adapt memory transference as required? I seem to recall your attempts to do so while trying to bring us home culminated in literal bloodletting. They did, you're right. Despite my best efforts, I could not recreate the mechanism, and I concede that the rather clumsy compromise I reached would not provide the basis for a cure. Then perhaps it's better we consider another approach. Your doubts are understandable, but this time I believe we have reason to be confident. You see, nodes such as this were built with the ability to simulate magics, which leads me to believe that it may be capable of performing simulations of the transference technique. If so, we would be able to conduct years' worth of chess within a space of a few days. In theory, it would be no different from how we identified the password. But it'll take more calculating power, a lot more. I honestly couldn't say whether our equipment would be up to the task. Tell me, Sid, why do you suppose Owen locked his report behind a password? To keep it from prying eyes, of course. Why else? Wait, a password that could be guessed by anyone with leisure and a dictionary wouldn't keep it from a person minded to look. No, he wanted his report to be seen by those who strive for freedom. And now the password makes sense. None alike the members of a certain distinguished engineering collective. I believe their motto was freedom through technology or some such. You two, round up as many Magitech terminals as you can find and bring them to the workshops. Right away, Chief! Things are about to get very busy. Luckily, we have you to help, eh? Right, while Graha, Tia, and I configure the terminals, I want the rest of you to procure supplies. Namely, ceruleum to fuel the terminals and eye shards to keep them cool. The more we have of both, the better. Leave the eye shards to me. I'll round up some adventurers and go on a gathering spree. In that case, I'll trust you and Alice with the ceruleum. Here's a promissory note for each of you. Hey, the promise of being paid. Take them to the Skysteel Manufactory in Ishgard and the ceruleum processing plant in Thanalin. The people there will give you what you need. Yours is a well-known face in the Holy See, I believe. If it's all the same to you, I'll head to Thanalin. Yeah, makes sense. Alright, so I get to see Sir Emmerich. Alright. Just making sure that's where I have to go. Yes, it is. The snowy castle on a giant jutting piece of rock. Hey, let's also learn how to be an engine. Nah. Maybe some other time for me. You stand in the Skysteel Manufactory. What is it that you require? I require this. So you are after ceruleum. In that case, please present the note to our engineer at the airship landing. He'll be glad to assist you. Oh, okay. So... Astrologium. I still have trouble with navigating here sometimes. We could also learn how to be an astrologist. Nah, not really. Not up to it. Ceruleum? You've come to the right man. Fair warning, though, this price has shot up on the account of uncertainty with the Empire, so I hope you've got the coin. Hope this covers it. Well, now, a promissory note from the ironworks. Don't see many of these. Not that it's a problem, it's as good as gold to me. Get to put them into debt even more. Blah 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 blah. Oh, hello. Let's do this and this.
My friend, after the disappointment of not seeing you in Alamigo, what good fortune to chance upon you here of all places.
You here to hit on me again? I wouldn't exactly hate it.
As you may have heard, the Allied nations are making a renewed effort to address the primal problem. To that end, have I invited the chieftain of the Vanu to Ishgard, that we might together plot a course.
Hi.
Since the war with the Empire appears to be nearing its conclusion, I would also like to call upon Estinian's lance. Alas, he is, as ever, a difficult man to find. I am informed he recently paid a visit to the Rising Stones. Should he happen to do so again, be sure to pass on my regards, won't you? But tell me, what business brings you to our fair city this day?
Blah 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 blah.
A cure for tempering. You never cease to amaze me. Until now, our only hope has been prevention, our every failure irrevocable. But this would rewrite the rules of engagement. It could end the cycle of bloodshed.
Why does it sound like he wants to come over and kiss me?
Very well. You shall have all the ceruleum we can provide, and an airship with which to transport it. In this matter, you may count on Ishgard's full support.
Thank you. That date'll have to wait. Ah, yes, storing it in wooden barrels. That's the smartest thing to do. Call me later. You have me on your link pearl, yes? Remember to use the private channel. Wow. Is that all the ceruleum there? Wow, looks like it. And ice shards.
Who would have thought ceruleum weighed so much?
You do realize you didn't have to carry it on your own, right?
Serves me right for being stubborn, I suppose. I should have just done what you did and accepted help.
Oh my god, you actually did carry it.
Good work, you two. This is all we asked for and more. Quite a lot more now that I look at it. Lord Emmerich, eh? And entirely by chance. Ha! Some people have all the luck.
It's almost like we're the main character. It's almost like we're the main character. Anyway.
We have also succeeded in configuring the terminals, thanks in no small part to our able assistant.
Hello,
It's
Nero.
been a while, hero. You seem surprised to see me. Lest you misunderstand, I've no interest in such things as cures for tempering. But if you mean to achieve that which eluded even the storied Allagans, it seemed plain that you would require my expertise. And so it proved. Is that not right, Garland?
Ask Jessie. She was the one who hired you. All I know is you're an employee of the Ironworks now, so you'll bloody well earn your keep.
That wasn't the only reason I agreed to cooperate. I'm reliably informed that Garland and I are destined to unravel the secrets of travel, not only across dimensions, but through time. Doubtless the lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 parts to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement.
Very well then. I'll do 1/10 of the work. Just the part that's beyond you.
Oh!
Whatever you say, Garland.
By the way, the healing applications of crystal foci proved very useful in getting us to where we are now. I must remember to thank Mikoto. Right. If everyone's ready, let's begin. All appears to be in order. Now, we just have to wait for it to find us our magic. Why not take this opportunity to put your feet up? This may take a while.
We just basically attached the largest water cooler ever to a supercomputer, so that we can maximize its processes without it bottlenecking. Alistate's falling asleep. Or she is asleep.
Damn it. It's overloading.
Wow. This water cooler isn't working.
She won't last much longer! We'll have to shut it down.
Wait! We're close! So very close!
Oh.
Well, this is going swimmingly.
And you're doing so much to help, aren't you?
Please, a moment longer. I beg you.
Ding! Pizza's ready.
I was able to memorize the magic before it faded. It still needs to be put to the proof, but I believe we have our cure.
His mind seems to be faster than I thought.
It's just as well. She'll never run again.
The fault is mine. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It may fall short of dimension hopping, but a cure for tempering is not to be sniffed at. This, my friend, is a world-changing discovery. One we're proud to have had a hand in. A few Magitech terminals are a pittance to pay.
Can't you guys just make more of those?
Thank you.
Well, we've done what we can. The rest is up to you.
Yay. We found our cure. Alas, the Ironworks crew couldn't linger long. Far too much to do. Yet brief though our time together was, it was bloody good to see them. Hey, even more food. Vitality, piety, determination, critical hit. So, probably not going to go after the piety one. Oh, this one has spell speed. But piety as well, so that's more like healer. So I guess I'd probably be going for the silver piece or the stuffed Highland cabbage. Ugh. 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 I don't really like cabbage, sorry. At long last, we have our cure. In theory at any rate. We cannot be certain until such a time as we put it to the proof, but I'm quietly confident. Well, if we're to test on someone, then I suggest Gabu. His symptoms are relatively mild. It'll be fine, I'm sure of it. Yes, as long as we exercise due caution, it will be fine. Without further ado, then let's make for Limsa. We've kept Gabu waiting long enough. Okay, you guys can take the long way. I'm just going to teleport there. Maelstrom Command. So, if I remember anything from my Stabby Potato adventures, I know how to get there. You have a quest? I'm just checking this one real quick. Part difficulty Pharaoh Sirius, I think. Well, this is the moment of truth. I'll have our host bring Gabu to us at once.
Apologies for the wait.
Gabu, have you been good?
Still no change, I'm afraid. He just stands there in silence until we move him.
It's all right now. We're going to help you get better.
Fancy meeting you here.
Alphino Yushtola! I thought you were attending to primal matters.
We were, and came here for a meeting on the subject. Certain pirate factions did not deign to attend, however, and it was cancelled.
We had resigned ourselves to having wasted a journey when we chanced to espy you. Could it be that there has been progress with the treatment?
You could say that.
Using Magitech terminals to formulate the solution. I would never have contemplated such an approach.
So this new magic, adapted from memory transference, would be used to purge the subject of their fanatical faith, while Angelo would be responsible for reanimating the ether of their soul. Yet I wonder at the practicalities. If one were to reanimate the soul first, it would only serve to exacerbate the tempering. Conversely, a stagnant soul would not respond to the effects of the magic. Would both need to be performed simultaneously?
Ah, nothing escapes Master Matoya's inquiring eye. As you say, both must be carried out simultaneously. And thus, I propose to imbue Angelo with the tempering treatment in much the same manner as I did the spirit vessels.
Oh, you can take it. You can take him with you. Cool.
By doing so, we also spare Graha the trouble of casting spell after spell. It's really rather efficient.
Be that as it may, certain difficulties are unavoidable. The imbuing process will still require no small amount of ether.
Can I get that as a minion?
And as I can no longer draw upon the Crystal Tower's stores of energy, I will be compelled to rely on those of others.
Well, I, for one, would be glad to assist.
As would I. Since the resumption of our duties, it has been naught but stuffy meetings, and I have ample ether to spare.
Excellent. With your permission, then, let us begin. Yes, this will do. And now, it's my turn.
Etherically charged bacon! That flies!
Tis done.
No small amount indeed.
Well, we seek to go where even the Allagans did not. It was never like to be easy. The rest is up to you, Alize. The treatment itself will take time and focus, so we will need a quiet room. I'm sure our hosts can spare one. I will go with her. It may be a while before we return, so I would ask for your patience and your faith.
We'll bring Gabu back. You see if we don't.
'Twould seem our part is played. Let us find a place to recuperate while we wait for news.
Things are starting to come together, it seems. Oh, this seems as good spot as any to have a rest. Figured you'd want to go to a hotel, to an inn room or something. There we go.
For years, Eorzea has labored to find a solution to the primal problem, without success. Any hope that tempering could be reversed faded long ago. I myself had given it up as impossible. Given up on the tempered and the light-corrupted alike. They were problems to be tolerated, or else eliminated, I believed. And to think otherwise was pure naivety. Childishness, even. But Alisaie refused to give up. She struggled and she struggled. And her efforts were rewarded with a way to bring back Halric. And now countless others may no longer be beyond salvation. However much we bicker, I have the greatest respect for my sister. Had I half her stubbornness, nay, her unwillingness to accept the status quo, I would be a far better person. A far better scion.
Well, if it's any consolation, season all of your work. Or don't tell me, tell her. That's probably the wiser decision.
She told you of my graduation thesis. How very embarrassing. Nonetheless, it is comforting and not a little surprising to hear that I'm still capable of impressing my sister. On the rare occasions I'm not annoying her, that is.
Alisaie, are you okay? Ooh, that doesn't look good.
Alisaie, are you all right?
The treatment. Did it work?
Kind of tells me, yeah, it did.
I'm so glad to see you all. Delighted, happy, glad.
Ooh, you speak!
Kaboo!
Looks like Gabu is excited.
All this time, my mind was filled with thoughts of Great Father Titan. But I never forgot about Mother and Father. Always, they were in my heart. Constantly, ever, always. So I tried to focus on their faces. Theirs and yours. Alisaie's and everyone's. And I found that I could remember. One thing, then another, and another.
Why does that voice not really fit Gabu? Not that it's bad, it's just off-putting.
Your hopes reached Gabu. They helped him to hold on.
I'm so proud of you, Gabu.
I couldn't have done it without you, Alisaie. Can you help the others too? Cure them, heal them, help them.
Hold on, I'm resizing something. There we go.
Yes, we can. All of them.
Without wishing to dampen the mood, I feel compelled to add certain caveats regarding the viability of the treatment for general use. As you know, reversing the effects of tempering demands a profuse amount of ether. And while Alisaie was able to heal Gabu alone, I fear the same will not be true for those who exhibit more advanced symptoms. Moreover, the treatment's effects are limited to the soul. It offers no succor to those whose very flesh has been altered through prolonged exposure to a primal's influence. All of which is to say that we cannot save everyone.
Maybe we can't, or maybe we can. No one gave us a hope of saving Gabu, and yet here we are. We must find a way to treat as many as possible.
Then, the next logical step would be to produce a veritable army of Porkses, would it not? Granted, it seemed a simple enough process in the first, but I suspect it will be different here in the source. Not that I am any authority, of course.
Yet there is an authority on familiars to whom we may grudgingly turn. She's stubborn, haughty, eccentric, irascible, laconic, annoying. And her name is Master Matoya. The real one.
The one you're turning into, basically.
I have to go now, Gabu. But the people here will look after you, all right? And I promise to come and visit you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Alice. Thank you.
She's got a son. And you know what? Screw it. The trace of a wry smile is visible on Y'shtola's lips. As she will be at pains to remind me, I have not paid Master Matoya a visit since returning from the first. But that seems as good time as any. Come, let us make for our cave. Alright, let's go. That's the quickest way, so yeah, let's go. As much as I'd like to stay here, I think I'm just gonna not fly. I don't think I got flying. Or it's just not accessible in this hub. Please tell me I actually managed to get flying when I did this area the first time. Yes, okay. Couldn't remember if I checked all the ether currents or not. I wonder what Master Matoya is gonna be saying. I take it you're ready to bear witness to the joyous reunion of master and pupil. Very well.
Nary a word from you all this time, then you bring every man and his pirogo with you. Did no one teach you any manners, girl?
They were too busy teaching me etherology, Master. Jesting aside, I wanted to be the one to express our gratitude.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
I am told you spared no effort to sustain our bodies while we were away. And for that, we owe you our lives. Thank you.
You were gone so long. I was starting to think you'd set your heart on staying.
It wasn't easy to leave, as it happens. Seldom does one have the opportunity to study other worlds, and I would not have minded extending my stay by a handful of years.
Ever the scholar. Y'shtola dedicated herself to studying ancient civilizations of the First, befriending a tribe known as the Knights Blessed in the process. There she took on the name of Matoya and won the respect of all the children of the forest.
Are you sure that was a good idea to say anything?
I merely adopted an alias in accordance with the custom of my hosts. Yours just happened to be the first name that came to mind.
Aw, so you do care about her.
You mean to tell me you went gallivanting about using my name and only bother to visit when you need a favor? And don't pretend you don't. I taught you long enough.
Indeed. And devoted pupil that I am, I could not fail to recall my master's sage advice. When the answer eludes you, look to the wisdom of your elders.
You there. Were you going to introduce yourself?
How remiss of me. Grahatia is my name, and I'm proud to call myself a scion. I too wish to offer my gratitude for your invaluable aid in sustaining the Archon's bodies, as well as my apologies. It was my inexpert summoning spell which endangered their lives in the first place.
Ah, yes. The one bent on digging up the mysteries of Alag. Old Galaf used to speak of you, and Kryles told me all about your recent exploits.
Another Final Fantasy character, Final Fantasy V character.
A bad back or something? At ease, boy. Whatever mess you've made, I'm not in the habit of dwelling on the failings of the younger generation.
I think that was a backhanded insult?
You are too kind. I've also heard much and more about you, Master Matoya. 'Tis an honor to finally make your acquaintance.
Well, that's more than enough pleasantries for anyone. Tell me what you want. I haven't got all day.
Blah 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 blah.
So that's the way of it. It should be a simple enough matter to make the familiar. The magic, on the other hand.
Ah, that you may leave to me. Being the only one possessed of royal blood, I alone can imbue the subject with the necessary magic.
So I just need to create porxes with the power to stir the soul. Just, I say. Though we're talking about a veritable herd of the little buggers, we'd collapse before we reached double figures. But if I could get a familiar to create the familiars, a mother porxie, as it were.
Giant flying pig.
Seems I haven't seen the last of that moldy old hole after all.
Dungeon? Oh, apparently the broom has a quest that I missed. Oh, it's one of those quests. Yeah, no, I'm good. Alright, off to my old workshop then. Everything required to make your familiar is there. That may be, but no one has set foot there since the Exodus. I dread to imagine what has become of it. Oh, there's sure to be a handful of feral familiars and a mayhap of monsters or two, but nothing to trouble the likes of you. You can consider cleaning up the place, payment up for my help. Okay, cool. Good girl. No, there's no other objections. I suggest you run to the Maker's Quarter. I'll send one of my little porogos ahead to let you into the workshop. You need only tell him who you are. One can't be too careful, after all. Off you go. Yay, we get to do a dungeons quest. A dungeon quest. Alright, I'm probably gonna take a little bit of a break before I actually go in there. Yeah, let me get up there, talk to the guy, and then before queuing up for the dungeon, I'm gonna take a quick break to use the restroom and get a fresh drink or something. Probably grab a small snack. So I have a feeling we're near the halfway point or something. Also, hey, that's Alexander. Also, I kind of like that we're going over a giant bubble. Alright, so that's where I'm going. It seems like everybody and their mother's parked over here. Greetings, Ribbit, and welcome to my good mistress's relict. Poro Rago is my name, and I am honored to be your guide. Within, you will find a space dedicated to the making of familiars, along with a cavern wherein the requisite ingredients may be had. I must warn you, however, that the place has not played host to a single soul, much less a broom, in over 15 years, and will regret being in some disarray. But rest assured, my brothers and I will see to it that you do not lose your way. Now then, Ribbit, only say the word and I will show you in. Matoya's relic is now accessible. And it's also a trust dungeon, so I don't need to actually queue up for other players. So I'm just gonna find a nice quiet place to go AFK, and then take a quick break. And for those watching the VODs, this is probably where part 1 of it's gonna end. And we'll be able to pick up in part 2. So I'll see you guys in part 2, YouTube.